So I'm going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. I do think we're very close now to moving to football the game against Seattle, which I think Green Bay will win. That's much more interesting to me. But Aaron did respond yesterday, about the time my show ended, about, the tsunami of criticism he faced around America. And I'm not going to get into the apology that wasn't an apology. I don't really care. The thing that was most interesting to me, and it's the thing that's most interesting about Aaron Rodgers, he had the quote, "I'm an athlete, not an activist." And I think this is kind of fascinating about Aaron Rodgers. The difference between Brady and Rodgers is not just that one has all the Super Bowls. Tom Brady knows what he is true to himself, understands what he likes and doesn't like, and is true to it and doesn't feel limited by it. Aaron wants to be a Jeopardy host. He wants to be an activist. He's kind of changed his look this year. I don't know if he knows himself. And I think sometimes this is what happens when you get into your late 30s, not married, no kids, you're the son, everything revolves around it. What are you? Who are you? What matters beyond you? I'm only really surprised about Aaron Rodgers that he went public with his thoughts on the vaccine. I said I was not surprised he did not get the vaccine. Aaron's about Aaron. But Aaron Rodgers, knowing that he's legendarily thin-skinned, knowing that he doesn't like criticism, that is so understood. Kevin Durant and Aaron Rodgers, Aaron said, I'm going to ramble for 18 minutes about the thing people are arguing about online all day. And I'm good with it. I love blowback. I love pushback. Really? In a country where 72% of Americans are vaccinated, 3 out of 4 people, and 750,000 have died, so a lot of people are connected to people who have died. Aaron thought, I'm totally comfortable with going into a very polarizing topic and taking all the blowback, because, I'm legendarily thick-skinned. Bruh, you're the one guy in the league that shouldn't get into this stuff. And for the record, I've always said with athletes, LeBron, Aaron Rodgers, it doesn't bother me if you talk politics. I'm generally not interested in your opinion on them. I'm going to go to doctors, not Aaron or Joe Rogan. That's fine. But I'm okay with Aaron having opinions. But understand, you're going to get the smoke. And Aaron's never been a guy that likes the smoke. Brady doesn't like the smoke and avoids it. Brady knows exactly what he is. I don't like it. I'm kind of funny on social. I'm goofy and funny. Brady understands who he is. He knows thyself. He knows exactly what he is. He knows what he doesn't like. He doesn't like controversy. He was deeply bothered by Deflategate. He don't like it. And so he stays away from it. I mean, if you don't like heights, you don't bungee jump. Aaron doesn't like heights and thought, I'm gonna bungee jump without a cord. I'm just going to jump off the bridge and see what happens. Aaron doesn't know, as a 37-year-old, exactly what he is and what he likes. That, to me, is shocking. They do call it self-awareness. Like, I don't care. In my business, lots of people can handle criticism. Ann Coulter, bring it on. She'll stoke the fires. Bill Maher, stoke the fires. In politics, Bernie Sanders, he'll go right into enemy territory. Ted Cruz, a conservative, I'll go right into enemy territory. Mark Cuban, entrepreneur. Elon Musk. We have Howard Stern. We have political people. We have entrepreneurs. I can go give you athletes. They're all very comfortable with the smoke. So by all means, go into it. But when you're not comfortable with it, you're legendarily famous for being thin-skinned, and yet at 37, you're not 7 or 17 or 27. You're like a grown man thinking, I'll be good with it. It's not about knowing me. You don't know you. And I think that is a big difference between Brady and Rodgers. Aaron is like searching at 37. I'll be a Jeopardy host. I'll be an activist. Brady wants to be a dad, a husband, and a football player. Totally comfortable with him. And by the way, what's wrong with that? What would be wrong with Aaron Rodgers just being a great quarterback? He is. And a great pitch man? He is. He's great at those two things. But he's searching. Even this year, his offseason, a different look. He got very zen in the summer. Bill Simmons and I talked about this last week. You get older, you're single, you're not married, you have no kids. Some guys can get a little weird. You're kind of trying to find yourself. He's been trying to find himself, but I find it fascinating that at 37, he thought he could just ramble for 18 minutes about the vaccine, take a contrarian opinion from 72% of the country, and then 3 days later be like, I don't like any of this. Well, of course you don't like it. That's not your space. That's not who you are. Know thyself. Aaron's still searching. So I thought this was funny. I tend to be, I think, as America's honesty broker, I try to be upfront. And sometimes I think I'm almost too nice to Baker Mayfield. I really do. I just don't think he's that great. But it's funny. I was looking at the standings today, the playoff standings. If we had playoffs today, so I want you to look at this NFC and AFC. So let's start with the NFC. I mean, the Cardinals, the Packers, the Bucks, the Cowboys, and the Rams. I think we'd all agree those feel like good playoff teams. The top of the NFC, those feel like, by the way, Rams just had a crappy Sunday, but those feel like really good playoff teams. The Cardinals, the Packers, the Bucks, the Cowboys, Rams, they can beat you multiple ways. They've all got, I think, really good quarterbacks. Those are playoff teams. The bottom of the NFC, who the heck knows who's going to get in? Those are not teams that are going to win. Right now, it's Saints-Falcons. If those could be replaced tomorrow, who cares? In the AFC, there's a lot of stuff here that doesn't feel true. Titans, Ravens, Chargers, Bills, Raiders, Steelers, Patriots. Raiders a playoff team? Steelers a playoff team with that offense? But as you look at those two, I'm going to ask you a question. What's the one team in the NFL now that you look at and think, oh, they'll get in? To me, it's the Browns. Listen, there are certain ingredients in the NFL that if you have those ingredients, you better make a very good cake. The Browns have arguably a top 3 offensive line in the NFL. The Browns have, in my opinion, the best running game in the NFL. It's top 2 or 3. And they also have right now a top 3 defense in terms of yards allowed. Okay, if they don't make the playoffs, you need to grow up. It's on Baker. Folks, the LA Chargers this morning have the 9th best offensive line, the 22nd best run game, the 23rd rated defense, and they're a 4 seed. Why? Because they got a great young quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles are the team that most aligns with the Cleveland Browns in terms of O-line ranking, running game ranking, defensive ranking, the year they won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Like the ingredients for Cleveland are playoff ingredients. If I wasn't talking about the Browns and I just said, yeah, it's arguably the best offensive line in football. It's arguably, I love Nick Chubb, it's the best running game in football. And the defense, you don't get many yards off them. I mean, it's like top 3 defense. You'd be like, oh, yeah, it's a playoff team, obviously. In fact, that's not just a playoff team. They should win a game or 2. Not saying they're going to get to the Super Bowl. That's injuries, that's health, that's where you're playing, when are you playing, how are you playing in the moment. But we need to be honest about this, all you fanboys and pom-pom wavers for Baker. The ingredients for this cake is you better have a really good cake or the baker should be fired. Baker Mayfield or a baker. The ingredients here are playoff. In fact, I'll give you an example. The only team in the league last year that was similar to Cleveland, and Cleveland, it should be noted, has way better offensive players than this team. But there was a team last year that had a very highly ranked offensive line, not as highly ranked as Cleveland. They had a very good running game, not as highly ranked as Cleveland. And their defense, yards allowed, was top 3 or 4, very similar to Cleveland. That's New England. They didn't get in, and Cam was crucified. In fact, Cam can't get a job now. We were the only show in America that slightly defended Cam. And again, let's just say this. Cleveland's offensive weapons are 1,000 times better than New England's last year, and it ain't close. Tight ends, wide receivers, no Nick Chubb hanging around in Foxborough. And Cam can't get a job, and Cam is washed, and he was vilified in the New England region. Like a joke. He's terrible. It's washed. So, and Cleveland's better than that team. And the AFC, I would argue, this year is weaker than last year. Cleveland needs to be in the playoffs. It's not a big ask. I'm not asking them to win multiple games. I'm not asking them to get to the conference championship. I'm not asking Baker to get to a Super Bowl. To me, there's a lot of things that go into that. You look at the AFC and NFC playoffs. You tell me, put them up again. You tell me, what team feels like a playoff team that's not there? It's not. There's one in the whole league. It's Cleveland. I mean, you could say Colts, but they butchered the Tennessee game, so they don't feel like a playoff team to me. Their record, they've lost twice to Tennessee. There's only one team here. You're telling me Cleveland doesn't have better players than Atlanta? Falcons' offensive line's a sieve. It's awful. Cleveland's got significantly better offensive personnel than New England. They got a better coach than the Raiders currently. So that's all I'm saying. Some of you fanboys, I'm going to pull a little heat on you now. I've been being very nice this year. A little pressure on Baker. You got those good of ingredients, got to be able to make a great cake because they have playoff ingredients. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.